But now you know about the club head and its heel, toe, and sole. The rest of the club is made up of the shaft and the grip, sometimes called the handle, because the way you actually hold the club in your hands is also called the grip. But typically we do call this the grip. So you've got club head, shaft, grip, and of course that's going to be on every club that you use. The putter is pretty straight faced on the front, usually maybe 2 or 3 degrees of loft on the front of the club face. You want a little bit of loft so the ball can get up on top of the grass and roll. If there's not any loft at all, you tend to drive the ball down into the ground. But for the most part, it's a straight face club, unlike the rest of the clubs that gradually have more and more and more loft. That's why clubs hit the ball different heights. So to talk a little bit more about the club face and the squareness that we were just mentioning, when the putter, leading edge of the putter is perpendicular to the line that you want to putt on, it's a square face. If it's pointed a little to the right, that's called an open face. Pointed a little bit left is called a closed face. And that is by far the biggest influence in the direction of your shot. So that's why having a square club face and hitting on the center of the club face is so important. You'll see as we go along. Let's talk a little bit about how we hold the club or place the club in our hands, or how we grip the club. Now in putting, definitely there's a lot more leeway in how you can grip the club than there is in the full swing. There's a lot of different styles out there on tour. The most commonly taught way to hold the club, I'm going to show you right now. If you just start with all of your fingers on the club, so there's no overlapping or interlocking, just all of your fingers are on the club and your thumbs are pretty much on top of the handle, with your top thumb, in my case my left hand, because since I'm a right-handed player, my left hand is on the top of the club and the thumb just fits right into the lifeline of the right hand. And the way you link your hands together, here's the tricky part. You take your left index finger off the club and then you slide your right hand up against the middle finger of the left hand, and then you just rest that index finger on the outside of the right hand. It's called a reverse overlap grip, because you'll learn when we get to the full swing we're going to grip it a little bit differently from this. Really the overlap will be different, and that's why this is called reverse overlap. If you hold it like this and you make every putt you look at, who am I to say you're not allowed to hold it that way? The other ways that people like to hold the club is, instead of as a right-hander, instead of the left hand being on top of the right hand, they'll put it below. It's called left hand low or cross-handed. Perfectly okay. There's a lot of players now who are even just, they call it the claw grip, and they just place their lower hand around the club like so, and a little bit like a claw. I'll tell you this much. Anything that you see any tour player doing out there that may be considered a little bit unconventional, I guarantee you it's in an effort to not be flippy wristed. That's why they're holding the club that way. They're trying to keep everything just, they're trying to basically sustain what they start with. They're just trying to retain what they have. They don't want to deviate from their starting position, and the way you hold the club can really make a big difference. A lot of the textbooks will tell you to hold the putter a little more in the palm of your hands than in the fingers. I'm not really a proponent of either one of those. I'm looking more for comfort and whatever allows you to just grip it consistently and make solid contact and put a good roll on the ball. So again, this, if you are to hold conventionally, this is the most commonly taught way to link your hands. If you just start with all of your fingers on the club, as a right-hander, the left index comes off the club, right hand slides right up in there, and then you just rest that finger on the outside of the other hand. So then as we put the club down this way, you'll see my thumbs are pretty much on straight up and down on the club, right on top of the handle. And of course, because my right hand is reaching lower than my left hand, this shoulder is going to be a little bit lower than this one. Now if I switch to cross-handed or left hand low, you can see the shoulders level out because of the difference in reach depth with the hands. So experiment a little bit, figure out what grip feels best for you, works best for you. it's all about maintaining a stable club face, being able to maintain a square club face and hit it right there on the center, on the sweet spot.